Focused.
It's got to be about the future. It's got to be about tomorrow and planning for the next day, and then ultimately bringing all that into focus as we attack the season.
Welcome to the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and Brian Sexton have all the news and information to get you ready for today's game. The Publix Tailgate Show is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farah & Farah, and by TIAA Bank. The Publix Tailgate Show starts right now.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Preseason Week 2. It's obviously the third week for the Jaguars, and head coach Doug Peterson has been beating a familiar drum since training camp began. Run the ball, stop the run. Run the ball, stop the run. And what he's saying is he wants his team to win the battle at the line of scrimmage and to dictate terms of engagement with the opponent. Is his team ready to play that style of football? And we'll get an idea tonight because the Pittsburgh Steelers have defined that brand of football for 5 decades in the NFL. From TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, it's preseason, and the Pittsburgh Steelers and Jacksonville Jaguars coming up at 7 o'clock this evening Eastern Time. Brian Sexton joined this week by JP Shadrick.
Yeah, Mike Dempsey's out. I don't really know what to do with my hands on this side of the desk because it's a little different, a little backwards. Right. It's like I'm right and left-handed all of a sudden.
Well, you're going to slide in here in an hour, so I wouldn't get too comfortable. And that's, by the way, the same feeling a lot of those guys in the locker room have right now.
Absolutely.
And Doug put on quite a camp this week. I mean, it was a challenging camp.
And they had, from the game this past week against the Browns, pretty good showing, I thought, for the offense and the defense. The short time they were out there, they played pretty well. Monday night practice in the stadium.
Which was beautiful.
The offense was fantastic. And then Doug Peterson decided to crank up the heat, figuratively and literally. It was hot on Wednesday, and these third down pressures just got the offense out of whack. And I think you saw for the first time this camp some adversity on offense.
Right.
How do they bounce back out of that, I think, is a question we'll find out tonight.
JP, there were people that were shaking their heads saying, what are we looking at here on Wednesday? And Doug had this little, sly smile on his face. He knew exactly what was coming. By the way, he told his team earlier in the week, buckle up. What we're going to do on Thursday is going to make things a lot more challenging than they have been. Well, the head coach knows time is running short in the preseason. He's got to balance getting his starters ready and having them healthy. He's erring on the side of the work that needs to be done tonight against the Steelers.
I definitely want to see the starters go into the second quarter again this week. I think our defense needs to be on the field a little bit more. They've played well in the first 2 games. They just haven't played long enough. So I definitely want to see them play a little bit more. Offensively, if we can do the things we did last week and sort of clean up some of the execution things, into the second quarter.
This is that rehearsal game. And normally we wouldn't even think twice. Those starters would go into the third quarter, but it's a different era, and so pushing them deep into the second quarter seems like a bit of a reach, but not for the head coach.
Yeah, and especially on defense, like he mentioned there, they played 9 snaps on defense last week. Yeah. You need to just see them a little bit more. Yes, they played well. They got a takeaway. They got a 3-and-out. They did some good things on defense last week, but let's see it. Stretch it out a little bit. Let Mike Caldwell get a little more comfortable calling some plays with the starters out there and see what happens. And on the offensive side, I think you just want to see clean operation throughout and just extend it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they get to halftime, maybe they'll run them back out after the half too. That's just kind of how it's been in the past. A lot of places, you never know. With Doug Peterson, he might just go ahead and do that tonight.
Yeah, well, he said to me he was going to feel it out. Yeah. We were talking yesterday, and he was just going to see where they were midway through the second quarter and make a good decision. So much of this is, okay, I've seen enough, right? And there's only one guy who can make that call.
That's right.
And that's head coach Doug Peterson. Well, Mike Caldwell and his side of the ball had that strong showing that JP mentioned to you. The run defense in particular, and 2 guys specifically who have made their presence felt in the last 2 weeks.
Leadership on the front level and leadership on the second level. Those 2 guys, they've played in the league, been successful in the league, and they've kind of instilled in us that what we try to stress. They're going to be physical in the run game and communicate out there and just be good for the whole defense.
And those 2 guys are Foley Fatukasi, who, if you have watched him on the practice field, you can see the power that he brings, and Foye Oluokun, who, of course, everyone recalls was the leading tackler in the NFL last year in Atlanta.
He can move. I like the way he gets to the football. He's a smart guy, obviously went to Yale. They don't just allow anybody to go up there, and he's really sharp in getting the plays in and getting everybody in the right spot. I think that'll be his strength. Fatukasi worked his way up. Remember, he was a late-round draft pick, and just found a role in New York with the Jets over the years and has made that blossom. And he'll be a big piece of this defensive line up front. And you mentioned it earlier, stopping the run. They didn't do that at all last year. It's a full rebuild on defense, it feels like, especially in that department. He's a huge key up front for this team.
He's also huge. Now, look, people have heard 6'5", 350. You know, they've heard 6'5", 270. But he's 6'4", 335. But he's just built in a way like a wall.
It's not like super fat guy, right?
No.
Normally those guys can be kind of really big.
He's wide,
yes,
and he's thick.
That's right.
But muscular and strong.
Yeah.
I mean, he is. When you look at him, you wonder, how'd you slide all the way to the 5th round? But there have been gems that have come that way before. Not coming in the 5th round. In fact, not coming at the bottom of the 1st round. The Jaguars this year picked Trayvon Walker. And the defensive end from Georgia, who doesn't talk a lot, and that may be because he's paying close attention to everything going on around him. This training camp has been invaluable for the rookie, who is jumping into the fire as a starter from day one.
It's definitely still a grind, but coming from the University of Georgia, they definitely prepared before. Like here, you don't, at the University of Georgia, we full pads every day. Here, you might get shells here and there, full pads, 2 days back to back. Nothing too crazy, but it's definitely been a grind, though. It's definitely been a grind.
This is a guy who used to cut his lawn in a full sweatsuit and a helmet in country Georgia in the summer. Not just his lawn. He told us yesterday in our TV meetings, his aunt's lawn, his grandmother's lawn, and anyone that his dad asked him to cut the lawn. And we asked him why. Well, because that's how I got ready, mentally ready for the heat in Georgia.
It is hot in Georgia. We know that. It's hot
yeah.
in Jacksonville a lot of times, too, and a good way to get used to that. And, you know, he said you mentioned he's starting to get used to the league, a lot of different things. He's got some good guys around him to help lead the way for him. And I think Josh Allen has kind of taken him under his wing a little bit, like Calais Campbell did with Josh.
Yeah.
Same idea. Josh saw that in practice. It's worked out for Josh, at least mentally, and trying to get things right as an NFL player. And to get Trayvon Walker in that same path, I think it's a fantastic start.
It's a great image of Josh Allen, who's a big guy trying to get his wing over the top of an even bigger Trayvon
That's
Walker.
Right. It is funny. Like, Josh Allen is a big guy anyway, and then Trayvon Walker walks out. It's like, oh, that's a number 1 overall pick.
We talked a lot with him yesterday about his length. And did he, what was his great advantage? Was it his strength? Was it his quickness and speed? Was it his toughness? And he said, no, it's my length. He knows how to use those long arms. When Tony Boselli was at his height, the reason he was such a great, well, there are a lot of reasons he was a great player, but he had that length. So with those light feet, he could keep you away from his body. You couldn't bull rush Tony Boselli. He was freakishly built and strong that way. And when I look at Trayvon Walker, I see the same thing.
I think you saw it on the first snap of the Hall of Fame game, right? He stretches that arm out and pushes the tackle back, and he can't get his hands on him. And he's pushing the guy back into the quarterback.
So let's roll over to the offensive side of the ball, JP, where coordinator Press Taylor sees his side of the ball through the lens of quarterback Trevor Lawrence. If he's playing well, then the offense likely is also. And Taylor understands it's always the little things that create success for his quarterback.
What I really liked was just the communication, the operation of everything. There were no pre-snap penalties. Everything got off clearly. They communicated really well as a unit. The ones all did and functioned well. And then you want to continue to see all the details. The ball security in the pocket, the ball handling with the running backs, the little details in their footwork of things we're working through. And there's even some plays that we're not sure we love yet, but it's like, well, this is the time to call them and see what they look like and work out the kinks of some things. So there's been some of that going on, but you just want to continue to see them continue to play faster, continue to master the details, be a great communicator, find completions, be accurate with the football. And that's what we've continued to see with him since the day we got here for training camp through today.
When you're standing in line at Publix or you're...
Where shopping is a pleasure.
Yeah, without a doubt. And that was a gratuitous plug. Or wherever you're at, right? You're out at your favorite dining spot or a watering hole, and people ask you about the Jaguars. There's only one question they ask you off the gate, right?
Quarterback.
The quarterback.
Absolutely.
Right, so we talk about all these other things,
No doubt.
coach, all that stuff.
I'm in bed by 9:30, though, every night. I don't know about these watering holes.
Right, yeah.
Speak for yourself.
I was thinking maybe early evening, JP, but I get your point. You're obviously committed. But they are committed to this quarterback. So tell me, when people ask you, how's he doing this summer, what do you tell them?
I think just what you heard, Press, his knowledge of the offense is one thing. It is a new scheme again. And, he can just roll right into it. What he did last year with the 17 games he had, he may not take a lot away from the actual plays and the calls, but how to get ready for a game and how to get ready for a season. He did that 17 times, and he'll have at least that in his back pocket, and now he can go back and get this offense going. And I think as it's gone along working with these new receivers, they're starting to find a little bit of a groove in the little nuances of the offense or the little details of a route or a break or something here and there to make a half-step opening for a receiver. That's what they're going through right now in training camp. And he's got the head on his shoulders to go about it, even through maybe a rough stretch of practice the other day. As he told me after the practice and told us, the press conference, hey, we kind of need that sometimes. We can take a lot from that tape, and it kind of brings us back down a little bit.
Gives you a to-do list for the next time.
Let's just work on it.
It's the best way to describe a rookie season for a quarterback who's starting is like drinking through a fire hose, right? I mean, it's just constant. There's no way you can possibly keep up. But he did his best. This year, though, it's completely different. You can see, as JP just mentioned, how far he's come. It's tough to explain, though, how different this season is for Lawrence, but he gave it a try.
From a day-to-day perspective, not getting caught up in what happened today or yesterday and really just zoom focusing on tomorrow and what's next. I think that's the biggest thing is play a 17-game season. You don't have any time to dwell on the last game, and I think that's something I learned throughout last year and even just every day out here training camp. You're going to have good days, not so good days, and just really just be able to correct that and get the best from it and move on.
JP, I hope people could tell, watching him from a distance through their television, hearing him on the radio, how composed he was as a rookie. Because if they did, then they understand just how perfectly he's gone into year two. The guy gets it, understands what's going on around him, and when you have him in charge, you feel good about the direction of the franchise.
They threw him to the fire last year with everything that was going on around this organization. He stood up there every week in front of that press conference on Wednesday and took questions he had no business having to answer, and he handled them all with grace and class. And now you can build upon that moving forward. He's the face of your organization.
All right, well, we'll have more sound. JP will coming up around training camp in the second hour of the Publix Tailgate Show, which comes up at 5 o'clock. Time now, though, for our weekly visit from Emmanuel Thallerand, ET, where he talks directly with you. It's called Come On, Somebody.
Guess who's back? Bringing you another edition of Come On Somebody. It's your boy, E to the T, with another edition of Come On Somebody. Now, what exactly is Come On Somebody, E.T.? Oh, well, thank you for asking. Now, what this is a safe, free zone where I, E.T., provide you, the people, a platform for your hot takes, your cold takes, and your lukewarm takes on all things Jacksonville Jaguars. Because I know all of y'all out there got one, especially when it comes to the Jags. And all I ask is that when you come on this here platform, is that you say it with your chest. Now, let's see what you got. Come on, somebody.
Come on, somebody. Go, Jaguars. Send those terrible towels home with a loss.
Okay. You started off strong, but you tapered off a little bit. C-.
E.T. Hoove, baby, here.
Hoove, baby. What's good?
I agree with Holiday.
What you talk about, Hoove?
Where the past ends, the future begins.
Yeah, I do remember my Uncle Holiday saying that.
Where history ends, the future begins. Go, Jags. Bang, bang, bang. Go, Jaguars.
Hoove, baby. Since you referenced Holiday, I'm going to give you a solid B-. Come on, somebody.
Come on, somebody.
Come on.
Let's get a win for Hall of Famer Tony Baselli.
Oh, yeah.
Go, Jags. Duval.
See, I like that. He opened up with a come on, somebody. He referenced our first Hall of Famer, Big Bo, and then he finished off with a strong Duval. 10.
Off guard by the high cost of parts and labor.
Really,
hit
bro?
the number 7 on your phone right now to have coverage reinstated.
Man, scam lightly. Y'all just don't stop. Come on, somebody else.
All right, Jags, let's have a good year. Come on, somebody.
Let me hear that come on, somebody one more time.
Come on, somebody.
Okay. 7.5.
Because Jaguars, welcome them to the jungle. We trying to go mad for our W's come in bundles.
Whoa.
We showing better than we can tell you what is upon you. We placing paws on and putting the whooping on you. Come on, somebody is really what it done come to. Come on, somebody is really what it done come to. We placing paws on and putting the whooping on you. Come on, somebody is really what it done come to.
Well, that just happened.
Go Jaguars. Duval.
And Big Dog finished strong with a big Duval. Like, he pulled that from his sternum. And that's how you do it. And that's a perfect way to cap things off. Now, I know it's only preseason, but I'm ready to watch our boys get down on the field, especially our starters. So I'm going to go get this teal water and watch this game. Catch me in the Bud Zone. Come on, somebody.
That is either 3 minutes of radio magic or the most intricately and diligently produced piece of radio in Jacksonville every week. That's awesome. Does he have a stand-up act? Am I missing it somewhere?
I don't know, but
he ought to.
He's fantastic. It's always a pleasure to hear that, and thanks for all the calls throughout the week to ET. And remember, Brian, you got to say it with your chest. That's the rule.
Like this?
Yeah, like that.
Like that. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe not like that.
Right. All right, I hear it like this. All right, up next on the Publix Tailgate Show.
I don't think they really saw me a part of their plan. And that's just how business goes sometimes. But I really didn't feel like I was given the opportunity to show what I could do there with the new regime. But, what do they say about another man's trash? What do they say?
Find out what they say with wide receiver Zay Jones in our Baptist Health player interview. Plus, our weekly visit with CBS Sports senior writer Pete Prisco. The Steelers and Jaguars come up at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Storm season is here, and JEA is doing everything possible to prepare. We've invested millions in hardening our electric, water, and sewer systems to make them more resistant to extreme weather. By updating your contact information and signing up for alerts, you'll also be better prepared if a storm hits. And in the event we need to restore your power, we can keep you up to date on our efforts and get you back to normal sooner. Update your contact info today at JEA.com. JEA, building a more prepared community.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Paid for by FDOT.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
Since 1916, Duval Motor Company is here to keep you and your vehicle off the sidelines. Their all-star lineup of dealerships provides superior sales, maintenance, and repairs for every make and model with Ford, Honda, Acura, Subaru, Chevrolet, and everything in between. At every Duval location across North Florida, Duval Motor Company always puts service first. In-store, online, or at your front door. Get service first with DuvalMotorCompany.com. The Publix Tailgate Show continues. Brian Sexton sitting in the big chair here in the first hour, but JP Shadrick, who is with me, will slide over into his normal spot for hour number 2 and 3. Jaguars and Steelers coming up, kickoff 7 o'clock. And tonight's game is brought to you by Pet Paradise, the official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Book today at petparadise.com. Well, the Jaguars have played the Steelers countless times in the regular season.
Sure.
Well, you can count it, but we're not. And a couple postseason games now. And this is the first time they've ever played in the preseason.
Second. 2015, week 1 of the preseason, the Jaguars beat the Steelers in this stadium. Blake Bortles ran for a 4-yard touchdown. Big Ben started the game through a touchdown pass.
Are you pulling this one off of memory?
No. Denard Robinson ran for like 22 yards in the game. And that, Brian, was the Cappy game. He had 2 sacks in the game late in the game.
How can I forget that?
Didn't make the roster. That was the only one. How about that?
He was a folk hero
to
Jaguars fans everywhere. A guy who's also a folk hero is Pete Prisco. And Mike Dempsey, though he is not here today, still had time to catch up with Pete for his weekly conversation here on the Tailgate Show.
Doug Peterson lets us know this week that he plans on playing the starters into the second quarter. Pete, if you were in charge of the Jaguars, would this be kind of the dress rehearsal game where you'd even get them back out there after halftime and then maybe shut them down for the rest of the preseason?
Yeah, I don't think you probably should do that these days, in large part. And this is me, my personal opinion is, because I think if you don't play them at all in the final game, then you go 3 weeks without playing any real football. So I think I'd probably play him a little bit in the final game, so I wouldn't play him all the way into and out of halftime in this one. But I'd probably play him pretty darn close to halftime. I want to see what this group can do. I want to see, as a team, how they handle, playing a good, what's going to be a decent Pittsburgh team, and how they physically match up with them. So I'd probably play him deep into the second quarter, but I don't think I would play him through this halftime on into the third quarter.
We won't see James Robinson today, but he's been getting closer and closer in practice, still wearing the red non-contact jersey, Pete. But are you surprised how quickly the rehab has gone for James Robinson, that there's a chance we'll see him out there for the season opener?
Mike, it's been an amazing story to watch. I mean, when I was there at the first day of training camp, he was out there doing work on the side. And, years ago, that used to be an injury that kept you out for at least a year. And the way these guys are coming back, you saw it with Cam Akers last year, I think it's an amazing story that he's back out on the field, might be there in week 1. And a tribute to him, by the way, getting the work done, putting in the rehab process and going through it and getting back on the field. And it's good for the Jaguars. I mean, they're thin at running back. It's not a big group. It's not a group of veterans. It's a thin group. Travis Etienne has looked good, but he's coming off the injury. You got a rookie in there, and so I think they need to get him back on the field.
Well, they get Christian Kirk back today, at least for the preseason. They haven't had a preseason debut out of him. Probably could have played last week. Doug Peterson said as much if it was a regular season game. But Zay Jones stepped up in his absence. What are you hoping to see from Kirk today, Pete?
Well, I'm bullish on Kirk. I think maybe more so than most people. I think he's going to be a better receiver than he's getting credit for because of the contract. And I just think you're going to see a real rapport with Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to be really good in the red zone. I think it's going to be opportunities for him inside with his ability to, run routes and break off those routes and get quick touchdowns from Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to have a good season, and I am really shocked at how good Zay Jones has looked. That one, to me, that changes if he can continue to ascend and play the way he's been playing and looking in practice, I think that gives them a good group of wide receivers that Trevor Lawrence should enjoy throwing to this year.
All right, don't get me too excited yet. It's still the preseason, right? I'm getting excited about watching Zay Jones as well. Now, defensively, we won't see Devin Lloyd make his debut yet for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pete, they did a great job against Cleveland, although Cleveland was not running a lot of their first-team frontline guys last week. And, the Jags didn't have all their guys out there. But overall, what have been your impressions of the defense so far?
Well, I think the first-team defense did a really nice job last week. And again, they're bigger. They're more physical. I think playing Hamilton on the nose, he was kind of miscast last year and didn't really look the same as he did at times earlier in his career. And I think I think he's going to be a force in the middle. He's a big body in there, and then you got those other big bodies around him with Roy Robertson, Harris, and that group, and Fodikasi. So I think it's a good group. power group, and that should free the linebackers to run. I'd love to be able to see Devin Lloyd in there. It's been a lingering issue for him. Chad Muma's made the most of it. I mean, he's been in there making plays. He's still learning. You can see that he makes some mental mistakes at times, but he's getting opportunities. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I think the defensive line looks much better.
The Jags released Malcolm Brown from that defensive line this week, and there's been talk that, it's in part because Jake TIAA has been coming on, and Israel Antwine as well. Both got mentioned by Doug Peterson this week. Pete, were you surprised at that move? It just seems like they're going a little more youthful up front.
Tony Baselli and myself talked about that on Monday. We even kind of hinted at it. And when you looked at his contract, they saved $3 million to let him go. And he played deep into the fourth quarter or into the second half of that game last week. So that's usually a red flag for a veteran player. It tells you that they might be leaning toward going with the younger players, and now you'll see. I mean, if you can get younger and cheaper, that's always a good thing, and that's what they did by releasing Malcolm Brown.
All right, final thought, Pete. One of the talks of camp has been Tyson Campbell. Has been really spectacular, and the Jags think that ultimately maybe a guy that's able to travel to the team's best receiver. Are you surprised how quickly he is seemingly making this leap to at least the top of the Jaguars depth chart? I think most would consider him the number one corner on this team now.
I would consider him the number one corner as well. And, one of the concerns was, could he line up and play man coverage? And, the way he's played this preseason and camp, it looks like he can. And that's going to be a good area for him. And you mentioned traveling with the number one receiver. If you travel with the number one receiver, that means you got to lock up on him in man coverage. And that's always a challenge for any corner. But he's actually improved. And I think Darius Williams back on the field. But, you talk to people, and Trey Herndon's had a good camp. I mean, that's been one of those situations, Mike, and you've been out there more than me, but he's had a good camp. When I saw him, he looked like he was leaner and quicker. So that's a good thing. That was a concern. That secondary, let's be honest about it, the secondary was a concern. And how would they play? Mike Caldwell wants to be aggressive, and that means you're going to play a lot of man behind it. Could they handle it? Could they hold up? And the way Tyson Campbell's played, it looks like he at least will be able to.
All right, Pete Prisco talking every week here in the first hour of the Publix Tailgate Show with Mike Dempsey. If you're a Jaguars fan on the go, they've got a ticketing plan for you. The bundle at the bank is designed to fit your schedule and save you money by creating your own custom plan. From celebrating Tony Baselli's Hall of Fame enshrinement on October the 9th to cheering the Jags on against the Cowboys on December 18th, you get the flexibility you want for your time at TIAA Bank Field this fall. Visit Jaguars.com/bundle or call 904-633-2000 today to get your bundle at the bank. Well, our player interview is presented by Baptist Health and the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, the official sports medicine provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Free agent wide receiver Zay Jones might be the biggest story of this training camp, and that's saying something considering running mate Christian Kirk is the Jaguars' $20 million man. Zay has been the go-to guy so far and a guy who Trevor Lawrence is already locked in on. I caught up with the sixth-year veteran after the hottest and perhaps hardest practice of training camp yet this summer.
Today was a grind for sure. I think that if you focus more on the principles of who you are as a team and player rather than your feelings, because feelings change. So focus on the principles rather than the feelings in the moment. It will help you overcome, the obstacles that are in your way. So, yeah, for sure, dog day.
This is your third team, so you've integrated with the Raiders and now the Jaguars. How far along do you think this team is? When you come in from another team and try to get into a rhythm with your quarterback and your offense, how far along would you say you guys are, and how tricky is that?
Each team is its own unique group. So there are some comparisons that you make, but I'm not really into A compared to B, apples and oranges. I think this team has the makings to be to go as far as we want to go, right? I feel like we have the talent, we have the work ethic. We really just need to get on the same page and be consistent. If we can be consistently good, I feel like that's what will make us great.
I want to ask you why you're not in Buffalo or why you're not in Las Vegas, because how do they let a big guy like you who runs as well as you run go? I think when you get a free agent, you never quite know what you're getting, and yet you fit in here masterfully. How'd you hit the free agent market?
That's a good question. So I was traded in Buffalo by Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott in 2019. I ended up with Mayock and Gruden in Oakland, made the transition, worked my way kind of in the circle, if you will, of, the Las Vegas team. Gruden resigns, a new regime comes in, and I don't think they really saw me a part of their plan. That's just how business goes sometimes. But I really didn't feel like I was given the opportunity to show what I could do there with the new regime. But, what do they say about another man's trash? What do they say?
Treasure.
Trash is another man's, yeah, so. Then I had the opportunity to come here with Doug, Press, these guys. Don't know quite a lot about Jacksonville, to be honest. So, not that I was skeptical, but just didn't know what to expect. All I knew was I was just going to work my ass off and try to get as close with this group of men as possible. And I'm seeing it now. The vision's more clear for me. I hope it's clear for these guys as well, the direction that we can go. And I'm really proud to be a part of this organization.
I think it's very telling that when the quarterback sat down with us for a production meeting last week, the first thing he said was, I'm excited to see Zay Jones tonight. We're going to put him in so many different positions. We're going to ask him to do different things. It sure seems like the Jaguars value what you bring. And I'm curious if you feel like this has got more potential for you than either of the previous two spots.
I don't want to speak too soon, but I think looking at you right now, I have a really good feeling about it. And I know that I'm only just one piece. Humbly, I'm only just one piece of this entire thing that we're doing. I'm moved by Trevor's words because I think very highly of him. I think highly of our offense. I love our offensive coordinator, our scheme. I'm a guy that prides myself in versatility and being able to play inside and outside. So whatever is asked upon me, whatever I'm called on to do, I take great honor and pride in trying to get it done. And it's been real fluid so far. So we just got to keep the trend going upwards. There's going to be dips at times. There's going to be failures for sure. But this thing's moving in the right direction. I'm really excited for it, and I hope our fans in this city is too.
Final thought. This franchise has to be the little train that could, the little engine that could. And, the market is small, and there hasn't been a lot of success lately. And I remember thinking at your introductory press conference, you talked about, your journey to college and then to Buffalo and to Vegas. And I'm wondering if this doesn't just fit you perfectly. Someone who has chugged up the mountain and then had to chug up it again, and you can help show these guys the way.
Let me tell you something. This franchise was born in 1995, so was I. This franchise is in my eyes kind of been that underdog role with some great talent, but quite it hasn't gotten noticed the way that it should. And I have a lot of similarities to that. It's a great place once you give it a chance. Beautiful, beautiful place to live. There's great people. I feel like God doesn't make mistakes in the way that he orchestrates things. I'm a firm believer in that. I stand very firm in the faith of trusting him and what his plan is. And I love my old teams. I enjoyed those, but this is where my feet are at, and I'm happy to be here. And I really feel like this is going to be special. I think a lot of people just say that, but I'm a little bit different when I feel something.
Zay Jones, a promising player, an interesting interview, to say the least. I love it. I mean, he's going to be a go-to guy for me all season long. Well, coming up in 15 minutes, Hall of Famer Tony Boselli and Jeff Lageman join us from the booth. But up next, Walker Little has a conversation with J.P. Shadrick. The Jaguars and Steelers coming up at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. This is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Join the Jaguars in D.C., Los Angeles. Watch them win in Philly, Indy, Detroit, Nashville, New York, and Houston. When you fly nonstop from Jax, on-airport parking will punt the stress from your travel itinerary. Garage facilities offer defensive coverage from the weather and are a 50-yard dash from the terminal. Economy parking is just $6 a day. To learn more about nonstop flights and on-airport parking, visit flyjax.com.
What do you call a group of friends who wear the same jersey for good luck, no matter how old it is, and who support their team through thick and thin, week after week, as if the very season depended on it, while tossing the pigskin and drinking Miller Lite? You call it Miller Time in Jacksonville. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2022 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
What makes that famous call
"Dinner's ready"
even better? It's cooking a great meal with natural gas, enjoying faster cooking times and precise temperature control. And now getting a valuable cash rebate up to $300 when you install an energy-efficient natural gas range or cooktop.
Anyone want seconds?
When you show your home love with natural gas, it loves you right back. To learn more and how to qualify, visit peoplesgas.com/rebates.
The original pizza logs are a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and available at the stadium on game day. You'll find those delicious gourmet pizza egg rolls at concession stands, clubs, and suites. For all their products, be sure to check out pizzalogs.com and have them delivered right to your home. That's pizzalogs.com.
Put down the burger, put down the dog. Pick up the original pizza log. There's only one. The original pizza log. Yeah.
Hey Jags fans, Brian Sexton for Dreamfinders Homes. In a complex housing market, do decisions on the biggest purchase of your life stress you out? At Dreamfinders Homes, they can build the home of your dreams in one of their many communities in Northeast Florida. With a mortgage company in-house, they're here to assist you throughout the entire process. Choose from their wide range of single-family homes or townhomes from the 300,000s. Dreamfinders Homes specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. Call 904-590-2545 or visit dreamfindershomes.com. Jaguars Game Day Radio brought to you by VyStar Credit Union. Do good, bank better. The Publix Tailgate Show continues from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, where the Steelers and Jaguars will set up with a kickoff at 7 o'clock this evening. I'm Brian Sexton, and it's time now for our weekly commentary from Rick Ballou.
Here it is, preseason game number 3. Always the most important, and tonight, that is definitely the case. Good things happened a week ago for Jacksonville. 13-0 with the starters, couple of field goals and a touchdown. They averaged just 7.6 points in the first half last year, so that is promising. Also, defensively, 9 snaps and a takeaway. Only 2 forced and recovered fumbles for the 2021 Jaguars. Will consistency continue tonight? Can they run the ball? They really struggled last week to do just that. You take away Travis Etienne's 12-yard carry, it wasn't a good night. James Robinson again will miss the action. Hopefully he's ready by the start of the regular season, but they've got to fix the running attack. And this should be a good opportunity against Pittsburgh, who last year they were dead last when it came to their rushing defense. Of course, they have added old friend in Jacksonville. Who else is a veteran on this team who could get cut? Well, I think a lot of folks are pointing to K'Lavon Chaisson. All right, we just haven't seen it. He is a former first-round pick, but this is a brand-new regime. There's no honor there with Trent Baalke and or Doug Peterson. He needs a big game. I think Laviska Shenault absolutely makes the club. Others disagree with me. He returns tonight, his first opportunity to play for the Jaguars. How about a couple of safeties? Rudy Ford. Yeah, he's very important on special teams. I also think he's a good 4th or 5th safety. Daniel Thomas is a guy that I've been high on now for 2 consecutive training camps, but he failed last week, missed a couple of tackles, one for a long gainer, so that is a concern. The reserves overall haven't played well. They've been outscored 51-11. I think that'll be the case tonight in the second half. Pittsburgh has 3 quarterbacks who are trying to win this job. You know they're going to throw it, try to do everything that they can to show their head coach, Mike Tomlin, that they deserve that opportunity. So fans, don't freak out. I think when it's all said and done, Pittsburgh wins the game tonight handily because of that. But it comes down to what do the starters do against Pittsburgh starters in the first 30 minutes of play. If they can get another 13-0 type game, or perhaps even better, against the Steelers, that's great news for the Jaguars before they head to Atlanta.
Well, there's lots to focus on this evening if you're watching the Jaguars and the Steelers. And, JP, we have had our focus on the right tackle battle.
Yeah, we have.
The entire way. And Walker Little, I thought, was clearly ahead. But in the last week, since the Browns game, Jawan Taylor has made up enough ground that Doug Peterson said he thinks it's neck and neck.
I remember earlier, a couple weeks ago, Jawan Taylor was out. He had a hamstring issue and was off to the side, and that's when Walker really started taking that stride because he was getting all the first-team reps. Yep. And now that Jawan's come back into the fold a little bit, things might have evened out a little bit more. And, Doug Peterson said tonight's huge, and even the practices in Atlanta Wednesday and Thursday next week, it could come down to that as well. So this is far from over. I caught up with both Walker Little and Jawan Taylor. We'll hear from Jawan in just a little bit here on the Publix Tailgate Show. But visiting with Walker Little, he is happy so far with his performance in training camp.
Yeah, I feel good. I think this offense is really coming together. I felt really comfortable, and I'm just trying to keep working on being consistent day in and day out and kind of being the same person, and just working on different things as we keep going against the defensive line and they go against us. We kind of learn things about each other and try to take advantage of it. So we're both pushing each other to get better.
What is the best part of your game right now if you had to pick one out?
I feel like I've felt good in pass protection, and I'm just trying to be a good run blocker along with it, and just trying to even out all aspects of my game.
Everybody's talking about that right tackle battle, you and Jawan Taylor. I don't know if that's a proper term. Still teammates, still helping each other get better, right? Take us behind the scenes of that, of you and Jawan.
Yeah, we're both competitors, but like you said, we're both teammates, and we're just trying to be one, great teammates for each other, and also just good players for this team. Eventually, everyone's going to have to step up and play, and obviously, each of us want to start. But we're pushing each other to get better and just trying to focus on our own jobs and do the best we each can.
Walker Little with us. What else do you feel like you need to prove to the coaching staff, the personnel folks here?
Yeah, I think it's always just about being consistent. I think that's the job of everyone on this team, everyone in this league is, everyone's a good player, but can you do it day in and day out? And that's what I'm trying to prove right now.
All right, so what's your expectation for Saturday? How much do you want to play? And then next week, Doug Peterson said, hey, next week even the practices in Atlanta will be big for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the joint practices will be huge, and this preseason game will be huge. And, I'm not 100% how much each of us is going to play yet, but we'll play as much as we're asked to and go out there and compete. We're at this point, we're chomping at the bit to kind of go against guys other than ourselves. So we're excited to play them, and we're excited to get to those joint practices as well.
Final thought with you. What has Brandon Sheriff brought to that offensive line room, a guy who's done it at a high level for a long time?
Yeah, he's an awesome guy, and he's brought a high level of expertise in his position, and just as an offensive lineman in general, is pushing us all to get a lot better.
So, yeah, that stability at right guard, I think, helps this battle. They can just go out there and perform at their highest at the right tackle position. And I would expect maybe to see Jawan Taylor a little early tonight because Walker Little's had his time in the lineup already. Give Jawan that opportunity. That's what I think, at least. You're going to see both in this game, and you're going to hear from Jawan coming up a little bit later. It is, obviously Jawan Taylor in the NFL has been a right tackle exclusively. Right. And every game except like 2 in college, he played right tackle. So he's a right tackle by trade. If for some reason he's not the starter, they might have to do some things, move some pieces around if there's an injury at the left side. Then Walker goes there, and there's a lot of moving parts here.
Well, the good news with this is people have questioned the depth on this team since last week when the second and third teams didn't score a point against the Browns. But, the loser of this battle, loser's the wrong word, the person who doesn't win this battle goes over and is your backup on both sides, so you've got better depth than you think. Will Richardson struggled last week, and people had, they were pulling their hair out, gnashing of teeth. What are we going to do? Well, he's not your backup, right? This guy is. Same thing. The battle, which appears to be won by Ben Barch at left guard. Tyler Shatley is your backup center and guard on both sides. Well, you're better that way, right? So there is more depth around here. And I think it's interesting you mentioned Brandon Sheriff and what he meant to the right tackle. What's he meant to the rookie center?
Oh, absolutely.
Worth $18 million. for everything he brings to the table.
And we haven't even played a real game yet. I mean, he's already showing.
Yeah, he's showing his value.
Absolutely.
For sure. All right, well, you'll hear, obviously, from Jawan Taylor coming up later in the Publix Tailgate show. PRI Productions, is the official event production company of the Jaguars. They have everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. Coming up at the top of the hour, JP moves over to this side of the desk, but up next, Tony Baselli and Jeff Lageman join us from the booth. The Steelers and Jaguars kick off at 7 o'clock Eastern time here at TIAA Bank Field. And this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
The creamiest, dreamiest soft ice cream you get from Mr. Softy. For refreshing delight supreme, look for Mr. Softy. The milkshakes and the sundaes and the cones are such a treat. Look out for the ice cream stand, enjoy it from your seat. The creamiest, dreamiest soft ice cream you get from Mr. Softy. For refreshing delight supreme, look for Mr. Softy. S-O-F-T-E-E, Mr. Softy.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Paid for by FDOT.
Storm season is here, and JEA is doing everything possible to prepare. We've invested millions in hardening our electric, water, and sewer systems to make them more resistant to extreme weather. By updating your contact information and signing up for alerts, you'll also be better prepared if a storm hits. And in the event we need to restore your power, we can keep you up to date on our efforts and get you back to normal sooner. Update your contact info today at JEA.com. JEA, building a more prepared community.
Your pet means the world to you, so Pet Paradise created a slice of paradise just for them. Pet Paradise is your complete pet health care destination with resort-style day camp, overnight boarding, professional grooming, and compassionate veterinary care from New Day, all located under one roof. Pet Paradise has over 50 locations open or under development to serve pet fanatics like you nationwide. Book today at PetParadise.com, the official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And welcome back to the Publix Tailgate Show. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Brian Sexton with you in advance of the Jaguars-Steelers preseason. It's the third week for the Jaguars, the second preseason game, obviously, for the Steelers. And time now for the first rounds on us. All right, we welcome in now Jeff Lageman and Tony Baselli. And guys, yesterday in our television production meetings, Doug Peterson said he was looking for a couple of things. In particular, he wanted his team to play smarter football this year. And I got some ideas. This is going to be, by the way, our UF Health delivering compassionate care and world-class outcomes, finding solutions. So how do you make your team smarter?
Well, you send them to college, Brian. You pay a hefty sum for an education, bring them back and put them to work. No, I mean, smart.
It's a low bar. It was a low bar after last year. I mean, It's not that hard to overcome that.
Well, you're right. I mean, last year I think this football team made a lot of dumb penalties. When
They
I say
weren't well
dumb
prepared,
penalties, are mental penalties when it comes to the false start, self-inflicted wounds. There were some things that happened after the play that were personal fouls that hurt this football team. There were penalties that killed drives. I mean, all the things that you can do to kind of keep the boat from getting rocked in a big fashion, you just want to avoid them. And whether it's mental or whether it's physical, because the reality is, and Tony, you know this, some of the mistakes or dumb things that you do can be mental, but some of them can be physical as well.
Absolutely. But, Jeff, I mean, and I interrupted you, but I was like, it was just so obvious. I don't think they were well prepared last year. I mean,
wait a minute. You mean the first game of the season at Houston? I thought that they looked like a well-oiled machine.
I mean, they couldn't even get 11 guys on the field.
It was bad.
I mean, so like, I agree with what Doug's saying, but it's like it's such a low bar. Just get 11 guys on the field.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, whoa, we are so much better.
Yeah,
I mean, think about, Jeff, this. Last week watching this offense operate, it's like, oh, now I remember what an NFL offense looked like when you have an NFL head coach and offensive coordinator in sync with what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I can tell you this, Brian, and when you listen to Press Taylor talk this week, and he talked about the mechanics of things and specifically about how they did in the Cleveland game, the first thing that he starts talking about is they're getting in and out of huddle. They're getting lined up. They're not having delay of games. They're not having many false starts. I mean, a couple of them are always going to happen, but when you clean all those things up, you got a chance.
That's right. What's the first thing you want to avoid is beating yourself. So often in this league, teams beat themselves. So, like, you will win football games on Sunday if you go out and play clean and smart and don't shoot yourself in the foot.
You know, one thing that I noticed, Brian, and I know you've seen this out there at practice as well, when the offense has a penalty, a false start or whatever, a pre-snap penalty, we see Doug Peterson every time walk out there, take the ball, back the offense up. How many times in practice have we seen in Jaguars history where the coach goes, line it back up again, let's do it the right way? And I think it's a small point of emphasis, but by Doug doing that, he's letting the team know, and then he does the same thing to the defense. He's letting them know that if you make a mistake, you get penalized yards, and that's the reality of playing football. And I've never seen a coach back an offense up because of a pre-snap penalty or to back the defense up because of a pre-snap penalty in practice. It's always been, let's line it up and get it right. So I like that.
Here's an observation for you on how you get smarter. Agree or disagree? You signed Foye Oluokun, who played at Yale. You draft Chad Muma, who I know, Jeff, you like the way he's progressing. He just finished his degree in mechanical engineering. And then you add Luke Fortner, who is not only an undergraduate mechanical engineer, but has a master's degree in aerospace engineering and an internship with NASA. Does adding really smart guys help make you smarter?
Now, listen, Brian.
Hey, Jeff, the guy that you're next to, Tony, he's got an advanced degree in economics. I mean, that's summa cum laude from Virginia.
That's Exhibit A where your theory is wrong, because I know a lot of guys with big degrees and big, majors that are dumb. Football dumb.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm half joking, but I'm actually half serious, because I've known guys that you would aren't going to be up for any postgraduate degrees, let's put it that way, or any academic awards. But you get them on the football field, Brian, and they're smart football players. And I think what it is, it's a lot of it is just taking the game serious, being a pro, preparing during the week and at practice, the attention to details. And so, yes, Oluokun and Muma and all the guys you mentioned and the guy next to me, very smart to go to the schools they went to and to do what they did. Smart guys. I don't want to brag, but I was an academic All-American, so I probably could be in that group as well.
That's come on now. He was in the remedial program, Brian, and you and I both know that. Okay, so let me just add this, because getting smart guys helps. I mean, there's no question about that, and it is very obvious that Trent and Doug are making a premium that character counts, because good football teams have good people on it. But also part of that is that when you get people that love ball, they have a tendency to commit themselves to being better as an individual ball player. So you get the commitment there, because a lot of times the commitment is what makes players smarter, because film study, okay, understanding the coverages, understanding all of the plays, all the adjustments. And so I think all of it matters, you know, the intelligence of the player, but also the commitment from the player. And if they love ball, the commitment is there.
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example. A guy we played with, Jeff, who I think was one of the smartest football players in the team, is Keenan McCardell.
No doubt.
I mean, you talk about football smart. Now, and I mean, he went to UNLV. I have no idea what he did academically or what he studied. But I know this. The dude was smart on the football field. He knew everything, what was going on, situations, his position.
He wanted to know everything that everybody did.
He wanted everything. And so I think a lot of it is preparation and the importance. And I say all the time, and to add what Jeff said about what Doug and Trent are doing about getting character guys, I always, sometimes people say, does that mean they're like morally upright individuals and this and that and everything else? It can. But really, to me, what that means is they're getting guys who love ball, who love football. Not what football can do for them, but love ball. And you have to have guys in this league who love ball. It's hard. Football is a hard sport.
It's hard to love sometimes.
It is hard to love. It's miserable. It's hard. It's like it's a 100-hour-a-week job, because it's not just what you do at the stadium. It's the film study. It's the getting your body ready. It's focus. And it's physically and mentally draining. And I think what Doug and Trent are doing, they're finding guys who love ball. Like I think of, and I know we haven't seen him, and I don't think we're going to see him tonight, is Devin Lloyd. You watch that guy in the offseason, you go back and watch him how he played at Utah, and you listen to him talk. That's a guy who loves ball. He doesn't love what football's doing for him, but he loves football.
Yeah, so Brian, and I'll tell you, and it leads to an interesting question. The smartest guy maybe that I ever played football with was a guy that didn't love ball, but he was the smartest guy. I mean, you tell him one time, and it was it. Tony Brackens. Tony Brackens was one of the smartest guys I ever played ball with. I don't know if he loved ball, but he loved playing with his teammates, and he loved the situation. But the smartest guy ever, tell him one time, he'd be in the back of the room sleeping. And I'd be sitting there going, Tony, wake up, man. Come on, pay attention. And I always thought that he would mess stuff up. But Tony, I'm telling you, Brackens never missed a beat. He understood everything. Smart guy.
All right, two football smart guys. You hear him here in the first hour of the Publix Tailgate Show every week. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you, Brian.
We'll hear much more from you over the next couple of hours as the Jaguars get ready and then take on the Steelers. Well, that'll do it for the first hour of the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick will be sitting right here for hour 2 and 3. Much more coming up, including the big stories of the day. Jaguars field radio analyst Bucky Brooks. We are 2 hours from kickoff of preseason week 2, game 3 for the Jaguars. The Steelers are in town. This is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
We've spent a lot of time in our homes.
I'm on a Zoom call.
Dinner's ready.
But we've learned that when we love our home, it loves us right back. Now you can keep that love going when you install energy-efficient natural gas appliances and earn up to $1,925 in cash rebates. You'll love endless hot water, faster drying and cooking times, and ongoing savings and comfort. To learn more and how to qualify, visit peoplesgas.com/rebates.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bono's is currently expanding its brand with franchise opportunities throughout the Southeast and beyond. Over 70 years of authentic Southern pit barbecue and owning your own business are a great combo. Go to bonosbarbq.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Join the Jaguars in D.C., Los Angeles. Watch them win in Philly, Indy, Detroit, Nashville, New York, and Houston. When you fly nonstop from Jax, on airport parking will punt the stress from your travel itinerary. Garage facilities offer defensive coverage from the weather and are a 50-yard dash from the terminal. Economy parking is just $6 a day. To learn more about nonstop flights and on-airport parking, visit flyjax.com.
Hey, Jags fans, Brian Sexton for Dreamfinders Homes. In a complex housing market, do decisions on the biggest purchase of your life stress you out? At Dreamfinders Homes, they can build the home of your dreams in one of their many communities in Northeast Florida. With a mortgage company in-house, they're here to assist you throughout the entire process. Choose from their wide range of single-family homes or townhomes from the 300,000s. Dreamfinders Homes specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. Call 904-590-2545 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
And it's hour 2 of the Publix Tailgate Show. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. We're 2 hours away from preseason week number 2. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up. JP Shadrick with you. Ashlyn Sullivan joining us here at the desk. And tonight's game is brought to you by Pet Paradise. Pet Paradise has over 50 locations to serve pet fanatics like you nationwide. Book today at petparadise.com. Pet Paradise, the official pet care provider of the Jaguars. Ashlyn, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We're ready to play some football today.
We are, yes. 4 full quarters tonight, and we'll see how many of those quarters the starters play. It feels like at least 2 tonight.
From what we spoke to Coach Peterson this week, and I just spoke to him pregame, it seems like at least 2 quarters, and then as long as the offense does their part and gets where they need to be, Coach Peterson will be comfortable pulling them out. Now, if they go a couple drives in the second quarter and we're still not seeing what they want, maybe it is a third quarter thing. I think for the defense, no-brainer. Second quarter, offense, to be determined.
All right, we'll hear from Doug Peterson, your conversation with him coming up in just a few minutes. Jaguars Game Day Radio is brought to you by ViStar Credit Union. Do good, bank better. Let's get to some of today's top stories and start off with the Jaguars defense. The number 1 overall pick outside linebacker Trayvon Walker continues to work on the small things in training camp, but with so much to remember as a rookie, there's one thing especially he continues to work through.
One thing for me, I have to say my pad, just playing with good pad level. Like, I'm a tall guy, and sometimes once I do like a move or something, make an inside move or whatever, I'll be too high, so I'm trying to get myself right with my pad level.
Ashley, you asked him that question this week in the press conference. You know, what's one thing maybe kind of you're still working on? That was his answer there. He also talked about, hey, this one position thing's all right. Outside linebacker, he can focus on just a few things like that.
Right. I thought it was funny because normally when you ask rookies that question, they go, oh my gosh, the speed of the game is crazy. It's so different. It's taking me a while to get used to it. And he's like, oh yeah, the pad level. I'm like, that's a very detailed thing to want to work on.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. And normally when you hear a rookie say it's a very big picture thing to work on, but that just shows how Trayvon Walker is so more advanced than most rookies that are coming in this building. He gets it. And to already be focusing on something like that 3 weeks in says a lot.
I'm excited to see him a little longer tonight, too. The starting defense played 9 snaps last week. Got to see him a little more time on task, just be out there. They played well. Just see it a little bit more tonight.
Right, and that's why I think it's a really fine line for Coach Peterson. I'm really curious, truthfully, how long he keeps the defense in. Because, yes, you want him to get those reps, but they're playing well already, and you don't want to risk anything. So where is that fine line? I don't know. We're going to see tonight.
Let's hear from Mike Caldwell, the defensive coordinator, on Trayvon Walker and what he's seen so far.
Mainly in the run game right now. You see the physical part of it, him getting off blocks, shedding blocks, and setting the edge for us. And then in the pass game, you see the talent, you see the toolbox start to expand. So he's progressing.
So obviously the Jaguars defense over the last couple of years around here has had some issues against the run. We were talking about this with Brian in the first hour. Hey, they did a lot of things in the offseason to try to help that out. They bring in new linebackers. They bring in Fatukasi on the defensive line. That's priority number one when you're playing defense. You got to be. It's the cliche. It's true though. If you don't stop the run, they're going to run all over you, and you're not going to have a shot in any game. That's priority number one for this defense.
Yeah, and especially in this division as well when you have the running backs that you do. And I'm curious to see if Najee Harris plays today. We haven't seen inactives or not with the Steelers, but that's a great test right here tonight. And we didn't see the star running backs for the Cleveland Browns last week. So truthfully, this is really the first test of a star running back coming in your building. Can you handle it?
Yeah, well, there's enough star running backs in this division. We know that.
Right.
And, you better hold up against the run, that's for sure. Let's move to the offense now. The battle at right tackle is under the microscope tonight. And this week I talked with Walker Little and Jawan Taylor about what they feel like they need to prove in the limited time remaining in camp and the preseason, starting with Walker Little.
I mean, I think it's always just about being consistent. I think that's the job of everyone on this team, everyone in this league is, everyone's a good player, but can you do it day in and day out? And that's what I'm trying to prove right now.
I feel I just got to show dominance and show leadership, keep doing my thing, man, and just keep getting better every day. And I just want to get better in the pass, pro, run game. Every aspect of the game I want to get better.
All right, that's both sides of this battle, Ashlyn. A lot of focus over there on the right side.
It is. I'm so intrigued by this battle because truthfully it really is up to tonight. You're going to see Jawan Taylor start, and then you're going to see Walker Little go in, and then you're going to see them rotate. And then tonight I feel like you have to have a decision. Even though Coach Peterson said we're going to go into next week with the joint practice with the Falcons and still rotate, it's all based on game action. And this is the last game we're going to see these starters. So I feel like you're going to have a pretty clear decision after tonight, which, my gosh, I hope so because we've been talking about this for 4 weeks. So let's have a decision and know the guy.
At some point, right, you do have to make a call and just move forward with the little time you have remaining. In theory, they've got 2 big practices next week against the Falcons. Most likely, and we haven't heard any of this, but
you assume,
you might not see these guys in the final game against the Falcons. So those practices next week, maybe you want your full starting 5 ready to go on the offensive line to practice against the Falcons.
I would think so because that's really your last chance before the regular season. We now have this weird thing where we have a week break. So after the joint practice with the Falcons, we most likely know you're not going to see them in the game. Okay, now you're not going to see these starters for 2 weeks. So I would think if I'm Trevor Lawrence, I want to know who the guy is so I can practice those 2 days. But I'm not Trevor Lawrence, so I don't know.
Well, the Jaguars made plenty of additions in free agency this offseason on the offensive side of the ball. Of course, wide receiver Zay Jones has made his presence felt throughout training camp so far. And offensive coordinator Press Taylor likes what he has shown on the practice field.
He's a guy he's been all in since the day he got here. He's all in building relationships. He's all in on competing in practice. He's all in just maximizing his ability. And that's what we knew about him when we brought him in. He has not disappointed from that standpoint. He's got a lot of flexibility. The other night we actually played him in the slot more than he has. We told him the day before, hey, Christian's not going to go. We're going to move you in here. He said, all right, great. He knew everything without missing a beat.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And it was a big night for him because Christian Kirk wasn't playing. They moved him in. He played those roles pretty well. Now we get to see Ashlyn Christian Kirk back in there with them. And we heard from Zay Jones in the first hour of the show tonight. Hey, they've known each other for a while. Mm-hmm. They're close, and I think their chemistry as receivers and how they work in this offense, we're finally going to get to see a little bit, a small glimpse at least tonight.
Yeah, and I think we have our answer on Zay Jones. We know what we can do. We've seen what he can do, and he's the take-the-top-off guy. He's the speed guy. It's pretty clear that he is that person. So now I'm curious what Christian Kirk's role is, and maybe he is the more slot type. Laviska Shenault we're also going to see tonight for the first time in preseason game action. So you have all these guys that can play so many roles. Now it's figuring out, okay, well, where do we place them? And that's a big decision maker of Laviska Shenault, Laquan Treble. Who's getting that last spot? If you keep 6, they both get it. If you keep 5, it's got to be one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, Jamal Agnew, does he count on that too? I mean, as the wide receiver, yeah.
And you're going to keep him.
He's the kick returner, so you're kind of running out of spots.
Exactly. That's why this game matters.
But it's been good to see Zay Jones step up because, in free agency, Christian Kirk was the big money guy and the headline guy, and then here comes Zay in. You're like, what does this guy really do?
And it took us probably a week in a training camp practice to go, oh, wow. Zay is the guy. And I totally agree in free agency. He came in and I was like, all right, Zay Jones. And then Christian Kirk came. And he has forced us to talk about him every single day.
No doubt. And finally, quarterback Trevor Lawrence was asked this week if it's fair for a quarterback to make a big jump from year 1 to year 2 when there are 2 different systems and 2 different coaching staffs. Well, He said he didn't know how to answer that directly, but he is fired up for the opportunity at hand with this group of players.
For me, obviously I want to make a jump because that's going to help this team win. Like I've said before, if the quarterback doesn't play well, you're not going to win many games. So in order for us to get to where we want to be come, January, we're going to have to play well. So I'm excited to have that opportunity, and I think this system offers that. And we got a lot of answers, got a great scheme. And then obviously we have talent everywhere, especially, receiver, tight end, running back. Up front, the guys have been playing great. So I'm just excited to really see what we can do this year.
Yeah, and it was a little bit of adversity in the middle of the week for the offense. I'm curious how they bounce back tonight. And it was orchestrated by Doug Peterson. He turned up the heat for the defense on a third down day, and there's like a meeting after practice with the offense, and how he can lead this offense back out of that, I think, will be big to see.
Right, and that's how you kind of see throughout training camp. Practices are supposed to be harder than the games, and by far that Wednesday practice was the most ineffective we've seen the offense throughout the entire training camp. And that was the day that Trevor Lawrence spoke in his press conference. And you never really see Trevor Lawrence down, and many times last year he could have been down. He walked up to that podium, a little defeated. I could just tell in his body language. So it was a really tough practice. Thursday they looked better, but they weren't in pads. So really today is the bounce back day from a pretty rough practice on Wednesday.
Tonight, last week was he 6 of 12, touchdown on his last throw. They ran him one time.
Took a while to get going.
But the first play was a nice throw, and there was a couple of high throws. And Press Taylor this week talked about, I love the way the operation was handled. Like in and out of the huddle, there was no pre-snap penalties. That gets you to the point where you can start trying to execute plays. If you at least have that, you can go work on some things in the preseason.
Right, and not to be a total optimist, but they weren't at that point last year. We saw week 1 last year, and they couldn't do those things. They were getting the pre-snap penalties. So I very much understand why in preseason you want to nail that down. You would think that would be nailed down last year, but it wasn't, and it cost them the game week 1. So I don't blame him for maybe it's a little too focused on penalties, but I don't blame him for wanting to work on that in the preseason.
It was chaos week 1 on the sideline.
We don't need that again.
No, we're past that, hopefully.
You hope so, yeah.
Doug Peterson has steadied the ship, at least so far around here, for the Jaguars organization, and you have a chance each preseason game day to catch up with the head coach, and I think he's ready to see some starters tonight, Ashlyn.
He is.
Yeah, this week I'd like to see a little bit better execution in the red zone and on third down. I think those are two areas in the first 2 games we've struggled a little bit. Even though we got down there last week, settled for a couple of field goals, we had some breakdowns by scheme and some sort of mentals there by the players, and those are things we went back to work on and fix this week. So a little bit more efficiency in the red zone and third down.
Okay, and now this is the point of training camp where everyone starts really looking at these battles, especially left guard and right tackle. Do you have an idea of who you're going to roll out first this game?
Well, in this game, Ben Barch will start over at left guard, and then Jawan Taylor will start at right tackle, and we're going to see those two guys early in this football game. We're not sure what the Steelers are going to do as far as starters on defense, but it'll be good for them to kind of settle into this game and really help us make a determination as we get closer to Washington as to who's going to be the starting 5.
Is that battle as close as it seems for both positions, really?
I think it is. I really do. I think these have been some of the two probably toughest battles that we've had all the training camp, and all 4 guys involved have really handled it well. They've acted like professionals, gone about their business, and obviously at the end of the day we got to select the best 5.
So there you have it, Ashlyn. Ben Barch to left guard. We saw that in the practice field this week, and Tyler Shatley was moving over to snap the football with the second team now. And, so that's one battle. It feels like it's solidified.
It does. I think the right tackle is a totally different story, but it seems to me they want Ben Barch to be the guy. As long as Ben Barch goes and performs well tonight, which we should see, I don't see Ben Barch now coming out of the starting lineup, which stinks for Tyler Shatley because, my gosh, great guy, worked hard here every single year, but it gets to the point now where he's so reliable as a backup. If Ben Barch goes down, you have no issue putting Tyler Shatley in, and that he has the versatility to be a center as well. It just makes sense. And you're at the point where if Ben Barch isn't a starter, you're asking why. So it just makes sense why this transition would happen at this point.
And we mentioned the right tackle spot, of course, with Jawan Taylor and Walker Little there. Red zone last week, they had the ball in there a couple times, had to settle for 2 field goals on the opening 2 drives. After the takeaway by the defense, they were on the fringe officially at the 21-yard line and settled for a field goal there. Third downs, that'll always be something that a head coach brings up. But even in a preseason game, you want to see not only the starters execute that kind of thing, but when you bring the reserves in, hey, these are the basic things that get you to victory.
Right, and that was the huge topic last week, was the drop-off that we saw when the starters left the game was drastic. It was dramatic, and you would expect it to be a drop. But I do agree with fans freaking out, like, oh my gosh, this was night and day. So yeah, you would like to see now that second and third team to at least hold their own, right? Because you should be playing a second and third team for the Steelers. So something we'll have our eye on tonight.
Now, Ashlyn, I know you never freak out about the Jaguars.
I'm very chill, yeah.
Poised,
I've been
calm,
through a lot. We all have.
And collected.
Yeah.
That's
So just let it ride. Everything will be okay. They'll get it together.
I like that jacket, by the way.
Thank you.
That's unbelievable.
Wear by Aaron Andrews. My queen sent it to me, so I had to wear it today to show it off. It's the exclusive collection. It's not out yet. It will be out soon.
I think I just started a commercial for you.
I'll send you one.
Thanks very much. That's Ashlyn Sullivan. You'll see her on the video boards tonight inside TIAA Bank Field with Fred Taylor. And, of course, you can catch her on Jags Drive Time throughout the week. What days, Ashlyn?
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. You got a lot of options.
That's a lot of options. 10 o'clock is the scheduled time, depending on what happens. But check that out on Jaguars.com and the Jaguars social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We're back in just a little bit with Jaguars inactives, about 15 minutes away. Not true inactives, but players who will not play in tonight's game. And we're about 20 minutes away from a pregame huddle up with NFL Network analyst and Jaguars radio field analyst normally and preseason television analyst Bucky Brooks. The list goes on. And John Osier's back with us as well. Up next, we'll hear from Bernie Parmar, the Jaguars running backs coach, who visited with Brian Sexton this week. The Steelers and the Jaguars coming up at 7 o'clock, and this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're hitting refresh now, palm trees swaying now, letting loose now, busting a move now, cranking up the beats now, hands in the air now, feeling free now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we believe everyone needs a little getaway. That's why we put a little sunshine into our fresh smoothies, wraps, and flatbreads. Can you feel it? You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Committed to the team, committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
With the first pick in the 2022 draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Duck Duck Rooter, the best plumbing and septic company in Florida.
Congratulations, Duck Duck Rooter. So tell us, how does it feel to be picked number one?
Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services is excited to announce we're a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you need help tackling any type of plumbing or septic issue, call our team of first-round draft picks for the win. DuckDuckRooter.com. That's DuckDuckRooter.com.
Your pet means the world to you, so Pet Paradise created a slice of paradise just for them. Pet Paradise is your complete pet health care destination with resort-style day camp, overnight boarding, professional grooming, and compassionate veterinary care from New Day, all located under one roof. Pet Paradise has over 50 locations open or under development to serve pet fanatics like you nationwide. Book today at petparadise.com, the official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. From TIAA Bank Field, this is the Publix Tailgate Show. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. We are inside 2 hours from preseason week 2. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars are coming up. Kickoff set for officially 7 minutes after 7 o'clock. And tonight's game is brought to you by Pet Paradise. Pet Paradise has over 50 locations to serve pet fanatics like you nationwide. Book today at petparadise.com. Pet Paradise, the official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Steelers and the Jaguars, of course, longtime division rivals in the early days of this franchise. But this is only the second all-time preseason meeting between the teams. The Jaguars beat the Steelers back in 2015, week 1 of the preseason. That was the Cappy game. If you recall, he had 2 sacks in that game. Defensive lineman for the Jaguars did not make the roster. Later, was with a couple of different teams over the last few years in the NFL, or the next few years in the NFL. But that was there was a running touchdown by Blake Bortles in that game. Ben Roethlisberger had a touchdown pass. Chad Henne was like 9 of 10 in the game. That's been a little while. It's the only other preseason meeting between the Steelers and the Jaguars. Next week, the Jaguars head to Flowery Branch, Georgia. 2 days of practice against the Atlanta Falcons Wednesday and Thursday ahead of the Week 3 preseason game Saturday afternoon in Atlanta. If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capabilities and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between, this truck makes tough look easy. Your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The running back position under the microscope this camp a little bit, with Travis Etienne Jr. returning off his foot injury from last preseason. Of course, a first-round pick last year, never made it to the regular season. He's been back in training camp, looks the part so far. James Robinson still working his way back. He was actually starting to do some team drills, 11 on 11, in a very limited role this past week in practice, just slowly working his way back. It might be a little surprising if you saw him before the regular season, but that's still the goal, is to have him ready for week 1 against Washington. We'll see how the next few weeks go. They do have a little bit of time to continue to progress James Robinson, and of course, a draft pick in Snoop Connor. So there's a lot to talk about at the running back position with running backs coach Bernie Parmar, who caught up with senior correspondent Brian Sexton, and Parmar explained his first impressions of Travis Etienne Jr. coming off that foot injury last year.
Well, when he came back in OTAs, just watching him do his work in the indoors, and then just ask him questions, how he felt, and then obviously just with him being on the field, and you can see how he moved. There was no residual from the injury, and he felt good.
It's early, but I think if he stays healthy and has a great year, that's a huge story, because that Liz Frank injury for a running back, there's no guarantee that you come all the way back.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the worst injuries you want to have. You don't want to have that, but at the same time, he's done a good job with the rehab. And just to have that talent, because he's very talented, so he's really going to help our offense.
You've been around him for 2 years now. I'm sure you're not surprised that he made it back, but tell our folks who are listening what it is about this kid that gives you that sense that he's going to be a great one.
Well, you know what? He wants it bad. Last year was a telling tale because it was his first year. He got injured. He worked his tail off to get his weight down. He worked his tail off to get back on the field. He worked really hard in the classroom, staying on top of everything. He didn't take that year off. So that alone told me a lot. And then just having the conversations, he made one statement to me, said he really missed football. So, you have a rookie, all of a sudden you say, I miss football. So I knew that we had a special guy.
I don't know what his nickname is or if he even has one, but if you told me that it was Smiley, I wouldn't be surprised.
He just goes by TJ. He's TJ, though. But you're right. He always smiling. He has a great personality. He loves to work. He loves the game. He loves to compete. And he's only going to get better.
Second most questions that I get are, where's James Robinson? And I know he's in the process of working back. Again, another injury, the Achilles, that isn't a guarantee that a guy comes back. What are you seeing from him, and how's his overall perspective?
I've been saying nothing but good things from him. He's handled it really well. Obviously, getting hurt last year wasn't something that he wanted. But at the same time, he knew where he was. The training staff has done a great job with him getting back to where he is right now. No setbacks in the recovery period. Also, he's been a true professional, staying on top of the offense. And now you start to see him run a little bit. And then he knows it's going to take a little time, but he's willing to take that, to be patient with that. And when it's time to go, it's time to go.
So there's a group of guys there who are competing to replace him essentially until he's ready to go. Is anyone leading that?
No, I think the guys are doing a great job. All our guys do a great job. They make great decisions. They've been true professionals in the classroom. They work their tails off in practice. And now it's just our time just to give them the opportunity in these games to see what they really can do. But we have a really good group. We got a good group that loves to compete, like each other, don't have no egos and things like that, and they like to work.
Is this league, is this team even, still a run to throw, or has this league become, you use the throw, the pass, to set up the run? What do you say as a running back, Coach? I think I know what you're going to say.
Oh, man, you know what? It seems like it's going in a passing direction, but you still got to run the ball. I don't care how many yards you throw for it, you still got to run the ball. So I think everyone knows that, and at some point you're going to have to, tighten up in the fourth quarter. Guess what? Hand the ball off, keep the opposing team on the sideline, and then end the game.
You've been around this game a long time, Bernie. You played with Dan Marino, so I need your perspective on this. How good can Trevor Lawrence be with a strong running game?
He can be, the ceiling's so high for him. I mean, he has all the tools to be great, and his mindset is great. He works really hard in the classroom. He works hard on the field. He works really well with the players, and with the run game and his ability, sky's the limit.
Things are so different this year, and when you have a team that wins just 3 games, there's not often a lot of optimism, but there's a feeling in this camp that this team is ready, not just to go forward, but to take a big step forward. Do you sense that, or is that just optimism from guys like me?
No, you're right. You sense it because it's real. It's real. Coach Peterson and the staff and the players have really bought into what we want to accomplish, and the guys are working. We see it every day, even the guys that were here last year. Guys want to be winners. They know that we got to put in extra work to do that. And guess what? No one's shying away from the hard work. We're working our tails off, and that's our expectation. So we're looking forward to it.
That's Bernie Parmar, running backs coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Always good to listen to Bernie's perspective on the running back position, of course. And as we said, there are some storylines at this position in training camp. James Robinson getting some teamwork this week, but still wearing that non-contact jersey officially. He was around in not a true goal line situation, but a red zone 11-on-11 situation, and then hit the 1-yard line and did a spin move, which was of note. We haven't seen a lot of that on the practice field from James Robinson yet, but that's a good sign, working his way back from the Achilles injury with 2 games to go last season. And as we said, Doug Peterson said the hope is to have him back by the kickoff weekend game against the Washington Commanders. And then Travis Etienne Jr., the bulk of that conversation there, looks like he is ready to roll. Told me a couple weeks ago that he is fired up and ready. He doesn't really think about the injury anymore, the foot injury. Snoop Connor, of course, a draft pick from Ole Miss. When the Jaguars come roaring back to the bank, will you be there? With our new bundle at the bank, you can purchase tickets to 3 or more games of your choice starting at $46 per game. You'll get access to Jaguars and Daly's Place pre-sales, discounts on single game tickets, a dedicated account representative, and more bundle-exclusive perks. Lock in your seats at jaguars.com/bundle or call 904-633-2000. Up next, players out of tonight's game, plus a Pre-Game Huddle Up podcast live with Bucky Brooks and, yes, John Ogier. We're about an hour and a half away from kickoff. The Steelers and the Jaguars coming up. This is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Kessler Creative, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has the print services you need for your business. Need large banners and signs for your next promotional event? How about custom boxes to advertise your company fleet? Find out for yourself how Kessler Creative can help you stand out from the competition with eye-catching designs that are sure to impress your customers. Kessler Creative, Jacksonville, Florida. Results-driven marketing and a proud partner of Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hold on. You want me to tell them about Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea in just 30 seconds? This is impossible. Hey, I'm Billy from Twisted Tea. How can I explain that first sip of cold, smooth, real brewed tea? So good! And the extra kick you get from just the right amount of alcohol? The twist of lemon, Wait, what? We're almost out of time? Oh, shit. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for the bright yellow cans wherever you buy beer.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Since 1916, Duval Motor Company is here to keep you and your vehicle off the sidelines. Their all-star lineup of dealerships provides superior sales, maintenance, and repairs for every make and model with Ford, Honda, Acura, Subaru, Chevrolet, and everything in between. At every Duval location across North Florida, Duval Motor Company always puts service first. In-store, online, or at your front door. Get service first with DuvalMotorCompany.com.
Brooks Rehabilitation has more than 50 years of experience serving the North Florida community with cutting-edge rehabilitation care, ranging from joint replacements, sports injuries, and balance issues to traumatic brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, and strokes. Their highly trained clinical teams span across their system of care to include inpatient, outpatient, skilled nursing, assisted living and memory care, home health, and adaptive community programs. Learn more at brooksrehab.org. Brooks is proud to be the rehabilitation provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
Jaguars Game Day Radio is brought to you by ViStar Credit Union. Do good, bank better. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey out today. He'll be back with us next week. We're at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. Tonight it's preseason week 2. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up a little after 7 o'clock tonight. And this evening's game is brought to you by Pet Paradise. Time now to welcome in NFL Network analyst, Jaguars radio field analyst, Jaguars preseason television analyst, Fox Sports radio analyst. The list goes on and on for Bucky Brooks, who joins us from the broadcast booth. And Bucky, Jaguars.com senior writer John Ozier is also here today in the studio with me. Hi, John.
Well, I'm not sure there's enough room for me to be here with that list. I mean at what point is enough?
I don't know, J.O. He just had to put all that on it. I don't know.
Only 24 hours in a day, but he's using all of them.
Yeah. What time does the game start? 7?
Wow. All right, so, Bucky, here we are. How long do you think the starters will go tonight? What do you want to see from these guys?
Well, this is the dress rehearsal, so I want to see a lot of action. I think you at least have to play a quarter and a half because what you want to do is get your guys into the rhythm of what they would really simulate in a regular season game. So have them come on and off the field a few different times. Traditionally, you would like to take it into the second half, but now because of the abbreviated preseason, the middle of the second quarter should be the sweet spot when you get those guys out. But as the Pittsburgh Steelers are approaching where they want to get their young quarterback to play against the varsity from the Jaguars, I think this allows you to go ones versus ones for a little bit, see how the offense and defense looks, get a little bit of the kicking game in. So you have that final dress rehearsal so you feel great about where your team is as it gets into the regular season.
Yeah, it's funny how much this has changed. For 15 years, I started covering the league in 95, 15, 20 years, it was a given. Your starters were going to play into the second half in week 3. You could write it down. You could expect it. You almost pre-write the game story. Now everything with preseason has changed so much. Even before this schedule changed, teams were starting to ratchet back. I think they'll do what Bucky said tonight. And I just wonder, JP, with Doug Peterson's approach, I think in the future he's going to play starters less and less as he gets more comfortable with guys. We're not talking about that yet, but I think tonight may be the closest thing you ever see to a dress rehearsal type game under Doug Peterson, because once he knows these guys, once he knows what they are, I think he's going to play them less and less during the preseason. What I want to see tonight, I want to see some sort of version of what we saw for for the first 3 series out of each. If you can get close to that 2 weeks in a row, I think you feel great going into the regular season.
Bucky, it makes to his point there, once you have an established system and identity as a team, you can kind of back off the accelerator because you know exactly what it takes in a practice setting to get those guys ready to roll. They're not there yet. It's year number 1. 2, 3, 4 years down the line, maybe he changes that.
Yeah, I think if you're going to change that, what you will use in place of playing guys in the preseason, you'll use the joint practice sessions to get that work in. We're seeing more teams utilize joint practice sessions because what it does from a coaching staff standpoint, it allows you to play your ones against the other team's ones, but it's a controlled environment, meaning quick whistle, my quarterback's not getting hit. I can blow the whistle quickly for my star players when they're out in space so they don't have to take unnecessary shots. But the competitiveness, the speed of the game, the competition in terms of good versus good, you get a chance to see all that and evaluate it. Then you can use the preseason games to watch the young guys and the guys that are on the bubble and see how they perform over a 60-minute affair.
This is an abbreviated Huddle Up podcast. JP Shadrick with John Ogier and media's Bucky Brooks. All right, yes. Right. So the defense the starting defense last week. Bucky played 9 snaps, I think. Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen both had 9 snaps in the game. You just got to see those guys. They played well, but you just got to see it a little bit longer tonight. How much you're not going to show a whole lot in terms of scheme tonight, right? I mean, what is this thing going to look like tonight for the defense?
Oh, I think you begin to play a little bit. I don't think you really worry about scheme things. I think at some point you got to get it on tape and see what it looks like in game action. You can do all the dress rehearsal stuff in practice and see it against your own guys, but at some point you want to do some of those things against an opponent so you see what it looks like, game speed, game action, when you don't have it scripted on the cards. So it won't be any of the high-level stuff, but I think we'll see a little more than just vanilla ice cream tonight. I
almost think Jaguars coaches got pleasantly surprised last week. Doug mentioned it this week. He didn't get a chance to see the defense very much. Well, they threw 3 3-and-outs, and I wonder if they had it to do over again if they wouldn't have left the first-team defense in for a couple more series just to see them a little more. So the fact that they played so well, or that Cleveland played so poorly, whichever it was, hurt their chance. I think surprised them a little bit. They probably figured if they played 3 series, they'd watch about 15, 16, 17 plays instead of 9. So I think they would like to see this defense, 4 or 5 series. I don't think you'll see very much blitzing. I don't think you'll see anything like that. But you'd sure like to see the same level of disruption that you got from the front 7. Aside from the offense looking smooth at times, making some chunk plays, the fact that defensive front last week disrupted and seemed very competent against another opponent was my biggest takeaway from last week's game.
Yeah, I'm with you, John. I think the way the defense played was eye-opening for everybody. And it wasn't just the level of execution. I would say the physicality, maybe the bully mentality that they brought to the field, I think that showed up. And part of the reason maybe why Mike Orwell didn't want to continue to play those guys on, man, sometimes it's a flow and feel thing. It felt like the defense had the game under control when they were on the field. And I think sometimes you want to lead with that confidence. Let them have that confidence because I'm sure it impacted the way that they practiced this week, and see if you can build upon that performance this week, because they do it against the Steelers, because the Steelers last week offensively were very efficient and very effective doing what they do. If the defense comes out and performs to that level where they strangle the Steelers offense, then heading into the regular season, man, that confidence is going to be through the roof, and I think it bodes well for the defensive performance.
I think from Bucky's point of view, JP, if you get a 3-and-out on the first series, get him out of there and get to the regular season.
Bubble wrap him.
I mean, I don't know if you want to bubble wrap him, but, I mean, sometimes you got to know when you got them under control. And when you have them choked out and doing those things, it'll be interesting. But tonight is different because I think you want to play them a little longer, because I would anticipate the Steelers have game planned a little more than they had in the past. Because they're intent on putting the rookie in, they're going to leave him in with the first offensive line. They're going to have some plays for him to see how he will handle them in the regular season. And so they're using the Jaguars defense as a barometer on where their rookie quarterback in. So if we're coming in knowing that, well, I'm going to make sure they get their money's worth, and I'm going to give them a few different things to see if the rookie's ready to handle it.
Light them up like they did in Wednesday's practice this week against the Jaguars offense. That was a big storyline this week. It's the Huddle Up podcast on the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick with Bucky Brooks and John Ogier. And Christian Kirk will make his preseason debut for the Jaguars tonight. Didn't play in the first 2 games, John. And him and Zay Jones together, we've seen it on the practice field a good bit, but having it in the game, I think, will be a nice step in the right direction.
Yeah, I'll let Bucky speak to Christian Kirk a little more because I know he's very close with him and knows how he ticks. I think the combination of Christian Kirk and Zay Jones is, I don't call it surprising because it's why the Jaguars went out and got them. It has been incredibly encouraging back even to OTAs, which Bucky loves and I'm not a big fan of. But during training camp, you have seen Christian Kirk continue to do that in Zay Jones. These guys are open a lot, open very consistently, and to me, it looks like they get open in ways that are going to be reliable for Trevor Lawrence. Like, he can trust that. It goes without saying, JP, it's been a long time since you felt like you had a couple of receivers who the quarterback could count on when he dropped back to be a go-to guy in big situations. To me, both Jones and Kirk, I'm not eliminating Marvin Jones, we're talking about the other two, but especially Zay Jones and Christian Kirk look like those guys to me, Buck.
Yeah, they absolutely are those guys. And I will say I would expect Trevor Lawrence to have a huge leap in year 2 because he has more dependable options on the perimeter. It's not just Kirk and Zay Jones. It's Marvin Jones coming back. So now you got 3 veteran receivers who know how to get to the spots on the play sheet. Then you bring in Evan Ingram, who's a mismatch nightmare. He's a guy who has the ability to really put linebackers and safeties in the blender when he's on the perimeter. And then when you throw in Travis Etienne and the explosiveness and what he could be when it comes to being a pass catcher out of the backfield, Trevor Lawrence now has more weapons at his disposal. If he continues to perform like he's performed throughout the offseason and in training camp, I would think that he's going to hit the ground running in week 1. I would expect to see him light it up. We might get a little sneak peek tonight, because Zay Jones and Christian Kirk, I think you'll see Doug use them as interchangeable pieces on the perimeter.
Love that.
JP, I've been out of pocket a little bit, so I hadn't heard of Bucky Scoutism probably since OTAs. In the blender.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go,
Not
people listening in the stands.
Not where you want to be as a defender.
No, you don't want to be in the blender.
Stay out of the blender. Bucky, have a great call on television tonight.
Yeah, look, man, it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad that J.O. is back. I missed him. I missed the wit, so now I can catch up. I got plenty of jokes to throw back in his direction.
You're the one who
missed it. So
he's
the one who, right.
You're the one who missed it. Okay. Have a good one, Bucky. He's out of here. John, have a good one doing whatever it is you do tonight.
Whatever it is I do, I'll do my best.
John Ogier, Jaguars.com senior writer. The Jaguars have announced official roster updates for tonight's game and players that will not play tonight. Or it's the 5 players that Doug Peterson mentioned earlier this week in his Thursday press conference. Nothing has changed from then. Darius Williams is out, the cornerback. He's still got the non-contact jersey during practices, but is doing some team work. James Robinson, the running back, is out tonight. He's starting to work his way back in 11-on-11 stuff in practice, but will not play in tonight's game. Devin Lloyd, starting the same thing, inching his way back to team activity after a hamstring injury just before training camp, the report day, actually. But he's seems to be progressing nicely. Badera Traore, the offensive lineman, also a hamstring issue, it will not play tonight, and Will Richardson Jr. was injured last week. He will be out tonight as well. So 5 players down for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We've got plenty ahead. We are inside 20 minutes away from Jaguars Radio Network coverage. Countdown to kickoff starts at 6 o'clock. And when we return, though, we'll hear from Frank Frangie in the broadcast booth here at TIAA Bank Field. The Steelers and the Jaguars coming up at 7 o'clock. And this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Hey Jags fans, Brian Sexton for Dreamfinders Homes. In a complex housing market, do decisions on the biggest purchase of your life stress you out? At Dreamfinders Homes, they can build the home of your dreams in one of their many communities in Northeast Florida. With a mortgage company in-house, they're here to assist you throughout the entire process. Choose from their wide range of single-family homes or townhomes from the 300,000s. Dreamfinders Homes specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. Call 904-590-2545 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bono's is currently expanding its brand with franchise opportunities throughout the Southeast and beyond. Over 70 years of authentic Southern pit barbecue and owning your own business are a great combo. Go to bonosbarbq.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Travel Camp RV, official RV dealer of the Jacksonville Jaguars, invites you to come shop their huge selection of inventory for your dream RV. With locations across the Southeast, you're sure to find them close by. Get value pricing on the top RV brands in the country, paired with the guaranteed best financing options available. You can also shop their inventory at travelcamp.com. Travel Camp RV has helped more families make more great memories in an RV since 1982. They're excited to add you to the Travel Camp RV family today.
Storm season is here, and JEA is doing everything possible to prepare. We've invested millions in hardening our electric, water, and sewer systems to make them more resistant to extreme weather. By updating your contact information and signing up for alerts, you'll also be better prepared if a storm hits. And in the event we need to restore your power, we can keep you up to date on our efforts and get you back to normal sooner. Update your contact info today at JEA.com. JEA, building a more prepared community.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
This is the Publix Tailgate Show. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. And we continue from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, Florida. It's a preseason Week 2 matchup. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up 7 minutes after 7 o'clock tonight. Toe meets leather. JP Shadrick from the studios at the bank. And tonight's game is brought to you by Pet Paradise. There's a battle raging at right tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The incumbent, Jawan Taylor, is entering season number 4. Walker Little entering season number 2. I caught up with both of them this week coming off the practice field at training camp. They've talked about the battle, training camp so far, and what's left to prove to the staff with the remaining training camp and preseason time, starting with Walker Little.
Yeah, I mean, I feel good. I think this offense is really coming together. I felt really comfortable, and I'm just trying to keep working on being consistent day in and day out and kind of being the same person, and just working on different things as we keep going against the defensive line and they go against us. We kind of learn things about each other and try to take advantage of it. So we're both pushing each other to get better.
What is the best part of your game right now if you had to pick one up?
I feel like I've felt good in pass protection, and I'm just trying to be a good run blocker along with it, and just trying to even out all aspects of my game.
Everybody's talking about that right tackle battle, you and Jawan Taylor. I don't know if that's a proper term. Still teammates, still helping each other get better, right? Take us behind the scenes of that, of you and Jawan.
Yeah, I mean, we're both competitors, but like you said, we're both teammates, and we're just trying to be one, great teammates for each other, and also just good players for this team. Eventually everyone's going to have to step in and play, and obviously each of us want to start, but we're pushing each other to get better and just trying to focus on our own jobs and do the best we each can.
That's Walker Little, of course, second-year player out of Stanford. It's a similar feel from the incumbent, the fourth-year veteran right tackle, Jawan Taylor.
Oh, he's very organized, man. You know, even when we go on the road, he has different things and schedules set out for us to do different things, so we know what to do and where to be at and what time to be there. So just him being organized helps us a lot.
You were out early in camp with a little hamstring issue. Obviously, you're back now. What was the most difficult part of that rehab? What were you going through?
I just had a grade 2 hamstring strain, so the turnaround for that is usually like 2 to 3 weeks, but I made it back in like a week and 2 days. So I was just treating it 4 times a day and just made sure I get back out here as fast as I could.
All right, that's the big question everybody's asking, is that right tackle job. You know, you and Walker Little kind of battling for that. What is that like inside the room on a day-to-day basis? Does it come up? Is it talked about? Do you guys just do your own job and not worry about it? How does it work?
Not really, man. Just go out and do our job, man. And if I see him do anything in practice that I will coach him up on, I do it. And it's vice versa. He does it for me. So we just, embracing the competition and trying to come out here and get better and be great teammates to one another and just help our team win games.
That's Jawan Taylor, and of course the battle continues tonight. Head coach Doug Peterson said this week tonight's game, of course, is huge for both players and the 2 practices against the Atlanta Falcons next week in Flowery Branch, Georgia. That could be the final opportunity for each player. If tonight isn't the final opportunity, setting up those practices for what could be the final starting 5 on the offensive line. But something to watch tonight for sure as the Jaguars face the Pittsburgh Steelers, that right tackle position for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if you're a Jags fan on the go, we've got the ticketing plan for you. The bundle at the bank is designed to fit your schedule and save you money by creating your own custom plan. From celebrating Tony Baselli's Hall of Fame enshrinement October 9th to cheering on the Jaguars against the Dallas Cowboys December 18th, you get the flexibility you want for your time at TIAA Bank Field this fall. Get your bundle at the bank at jaguars.com/bundle or call 904-633-2000. Let's go to the broadcast booth upstairs at TIAA Bank Field and welcome in Jags play-by-play announcer Frank Frangie. The Steelers are in town. Yes, it's not a regular season game, and for many years it has not been a division game, but it's still black and yellow coming in. Hello, Frank.
JP, how are you? And you're right. There's a little energy when they're here. Number one, because they're going to bring a lot of fans. Their fans live everywhere, so I think that's part of it. And look, there's been some great games between these teams in the regular year and the postseason, and the Jags always play well against them. Probably as well against them, wouldn't you say, as any team in the league in the Jaguars' 27-year existence. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And, JP, it's a game that's important for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is this is the one chance coaches get to see their starters for a long time. I would guess close to a half. They haven't said exactly how long. So a fun game against an opponent fans know, an important game for the coaches for sure.
We just heard from both right tackles there, Frank. Jawan Taylor, of course, a fourth-year player out of Florida, and Walker Little, second-year man out of Stanford. This thing's kind of gone back and forth. Taylor had the hamstring. He said a grade 2 issue with his hamstring earlier in training camp, but he's going to get the start tonight, and here we go. This is a huge night for that right tackle spot.
If you would have asked me, JP, 2-3 weeks ago, my gut, who was going to win the job, I would have said Walker Little, in large part because Jawan wasn't out there, right? But I would have guessed, even when he got out there, Walker Little had played so well that I would have guessed he was going to win the job. Now, and I'm still just guessing, by the way, but now if you ask me to guess, I'd guess maybe not. Jawan came back. He's played pretty well. Doug Peterson's a guy that doesn't ever want to see a guy lose a job because of injury. So it's a battle, man. I think you're going to see both of them with the rest of the ones today. I don't know if it's going to be every other series, but I think they're both going to play. And I'm not sure it's decided after tonight. Even though next week a lot of people aren't going to play in the game, there's going to be good work with the Atlanta Falcons at practice. And I wouldn't be surprised, JP, if that thing's not decided until maybe after that. It's the best battle in camp, and it's a good one for sure.
Yeah, there aren't many other ones. I mean, the left guard seems to be kind of settled now after this week of practice. Ben Barch got most of the first-team reps this week and getting the start tonight. Tyler Shatley was taking snaps at center with the second team this week. And that hasn't happened in a while around here. I mean, it seems kind of calm at the top of the depth chart around really on both sides of the football right now.
At the top it is. In fact, the job, what we're talking about now is guys trying to win jobs. Laquan Treadwell, I think, is holding on to that sixth wide receiver spot, but I can tell you Tim Jones is a really good special teams player, so that could happen. The third and fourth cornerbacks could happen. I think Shaq Quarterman right now is holding on to that fourth inside linebacker spot, but there's other guys there. But you're right, JP, in terms of guys we're going to see, barring injury, in terms of the guys we're going to see play a lot in this season, the first team in the rotational backups. There's not many jobs, and that's a good thing, by the way. I mean, that tells you that you're kind of where you want to be. I mean, in a few weeks they're playing a game that matters. I agree with you, and I'm glad it's like that.
Frank Frangie with us from the broadcast booth. Let's touch on the offense a little deeper here. Wednesday's practice was not the sharpest for the offense, but it's because Doug Peterson dialed up some things on defense for him, and he did that on purpose to see how they handled some third down adversity. And Trevor Lawrence said after practice they brought every pressure known to man in that practice, and it showed. As an offense, you got Christian Kirk back in the fold this week and in the game for the first time in the preseason tonight, going with Zay Jones, who's showed off very well the last couple weeks of camp and in the preseason game. So you got your full arsenal tonight on offense, and I'm looking forward to seeing that group together.
You know what, JP? I'm still not good enough to tell you what it means when you're practicing against yourself. You know what I mean? One day the offense is better and the defense is better the next day. But I'll tell you this, I'm really looking forward to seeing all those guys together. And I told Doug this week. I didn't realize Zay Jones was that good. I knew Christian Kirk was good. We knew Evan Ingram is a real matchup problem for defenses at that move tight end spot. But I had no idea Zay Jones, JP, might be really good. And that's a bonus for me. I thought he'd be a good player, maybe not an outstanding player. So I can't wait to see all those guys together. Like you said, Trevor throwing to all three of them, Marvin Jones, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram in there with them, Travis Etienne. That's some fast guys. We haven't had explosive teams. You know that. Jimmy Smith back in the day was explosive. Fred and Maurice Jones-Drew were explosive running backs. But, man, we haven't had that, JP, even on the good teams.
Right.
Even in 2007 and 17 when the football teams went to the postseason, we haven't had that. So, yeah, this team could be explosive. That part is very exciting.
Final thought here with you, Frank. The defense tonight, we mentioned they kind of lit up, with the pressures in practice this week. Well, they're going to have some time against a rookie quarterback tonight, and hey, why not do it again tonight, right? Light him up.
Yeah, and I think this too. I think you're going to see them for a while. I think the one thing that concerned the coaches a little bit is for whatever reason, the way it played out, the defense hasn't been on the field together very much. The starting group, and obviously Devin Lloyd won't play tonight, and Darius Williams won't play tonight, but for the most part, the guys who are going to play a lot haven't been on the field together very much. And I think they're going to go for a while tonight. I would be very surprised no matter what happens with the young quarterback Pickett or Trubisky who's going to start the game. No matter what happens with those guys, JP, I would guess you're going to see the Jaguars starting defense and starting rotation a full half. No matter what, I think coaches really want to evaluate these guys. You're not going to see them in the game next week very much. So an important game for this Jaguar defense, and important for the coaches to be able to evaluate them in this game.
Hey, the only way to evaluate football is to have your guys play football, Frank.
They got to play, JP. I'm all excited and geeked up for this thing. I really am.
Have a great call. I'll talk to you from the sideline tonight,
I'll
Frank.
look forward to it. Thanks, JP.
Frank Frangie joining us from the broadcast booth ahead of this preseason Week 2 matchup, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up. Yeah, plenty to discuss tonight. You'll see the starters a good bit in this game. Most likely a full half. Who knows how it goes? Maybe a little bit more depending on the situation. But coming up next, it's countdown to kickoff. Jaguars Radio Network coverage begins. One of the top stories of the day. We'll hear from pride of the Jaguars running back Fred Taylor. And the final word before kickoff with Jags head coach Doug Peterson. The Steelers and the Jaguars coming up in just over an hour. Thank you for listening to the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you